Hey everyone, Frank here from Superman, Florida. Everybody knows what this is. This is my Piper Cub. I'll add the photos to it to this video. I added ailerons to it, as you can see. They came out really well. I think better than the kit version. Oops. I added ailerons and left the dihedral the way it is. Dihedral's just fine. I put 4 gram servos in it. So 4 gram servos will be operating the ailerons now. Right now I'm performing surgery on the aircraft itself. I'm putting in a tray so I can put the battery in. The tray will actually hold the battery in place like so. And then I'll be putting in certain new servos in it. I'll be putting the servos and putting the motor back on. I'll be taking the motor off that one because that one needs to be rebuilt another way. I did it the wrong way. I think there was a fatal flaw in the construction, but that one will be rebuilt and be put back together. But right now, I really want to get this one back up and flying. I'll be strengthening the landing gear, putting the cross members in, making it a little bit more, and I'll put back the wing struts back on. This is a great flying airplane. Also, I need to put in a new landing tail gear. As you can see, the tail landing gear fell off. So, this was a great flying plane for the short period of time that it flew. But I want to be able to do more. And controlling it as just a stick and rudder aircraft is just like too perilous. I'm really not a stick and rudder guy anymore. I used to be when I was in my 20s, but now I like to do aileron and elevator. So bank and yank is the name of the game. So I've made using an old license plate from California. This is an old plate that I found at the dump. I made an actual motor mount. I wanted to keep it as light as possible. Now you can find these aluminum. You don't have to necessarily use a license plate, but if you're low on cash and you want to use something that's recyclable, why not use a license plate, right? Make sure it's an old license plate that's no longer used. So this one here is going to be mounted like this, and then the motor will go up here. I took the original motor mount, which was made out of wood, and it would break off all the time. And I'm fitting it up pretty well. I have to do some trimming, which I will trim it out here and here, and trim it down over here. But the motor should fit perfectly and snugged right up against here. So aluminum is a little bit better way to go. It's a little stronger. It'll hold up. Plus, I'll be able to bolt it directly to the firewall, and that's what we'll do. So, what's going on here? I built the engine mount. As you can see, it's pretty sturdy. I don't think it'll fall off. I went to the hardware store and bought more bolts. Any local hardware store should carry the proper nuts for your project, especially when it comes to RC models. Don't go to Home Depot or Lowe's. They don't carry that stuff. Go to a small hardware store in your area. They carry these things. Any Ace Hardwares, if you're in a large populated area like Miami or Fort Lauderdale, any small hardware store will carry bolts like this. So this is how it'll mount up. And right now what I'm going to do is put the tack in the holes here so I can get this mounted up. So It'll sit up just like that. And then the cowling, this is the plastic cowling. I'm actually probably going to make one out of foam, which I think will be a little bit better and look better also. But I'll also use this one to incorporate it at the same time. So I had to take off the top portion of the cowling from this deck all the way to the instrument panel, because when I crashed the plane, one of the very first 2 flights that I had, I crushed this portion here, and I want to actually rebuild up this portion here and make it a little stronger than it was before, because again, it's holding the motor on, and I just think it's a little flimsy. So I'm going to be putting, I had to put the bolts in. I put in longer bolts. I see one right here. So this bolt will be going in, this bolt will be going in, and then there'll be another bolt going here. But I'm gonna rebuild this whole area and cover this piece at the same time. So this is as much as I've gotten through now with everything that's going on. The motor is mounted in, the bolts are on. I put a new bottom deck. This used to be the battery tray. I'm moving the battery tray forward. The battery access tray, excuse me, I'm moving the battery access tray to be able to put the battery in a little more forward. I put a little piece of foam in there to keep the battery from sliding all the way back. So this will be the access point now. I covered this area up. This will be sanded down. I painted this area here, so the cockpit more is a little bit black and, you know, looks a little bit more to scale when the aircraft is flying. This is a popsicle stick. The reason I chose a popsicle stick, it's a little stronger than the average piece of balsa, and it's still light, but it's very strong, and it'll keep, I extended it a little bit because I'll be putting also the cowling over this area here. So other than that, everything's getting ready to be buttoned up. I'm going to button this up soon, and then I am going to put the plexi black on. I need to get better bolting for this area. This is where the wing will bolt on. I do have plastic bolts for it, so I'll be making those adjustments as well. And this is how it's turning out. My next thing to do will be to button this up. Once I get, I'm gonna put the servos in first, and then I'll button up this whole area, and that I'll cover in the next videos. Till then, Superman Florida out.